I spent a lot of time this week playing with KiCad. If that's how it's said. KiCad. Um, I've played with some other CAD program before. It may have been this one. I think it was probably Eagle. I got it on the other computer. I'll have to check when I get back downstate. Um, Anyways, it's basically a collection of programs, and here they are. Really, the Schema EE schematic program. This is the main guts of the program. And you got another program here with the library editor, and that's a big deal in this whole thing. You can see down here is a sample device. And then they don't have a whole lot in their library, so you get to end up making a lot of parts, which is the footprint editor and printed circuit board editor. That's the thing I haven't gotten into at all yet, is the printed circuit part of this thing, and I'm not even going to show that because I haven't been there. Bitmap component, convert bitmaps to images. Yeah, it's a lot of tools for making your own parts. Because that's kind of a weakness here is you have to look for your parts, and a lot of times they don't exist. You're going to have to make them. Now, even in common parts, it's kind of a mixed bag here. First of all, it doesn't have IEEE symbols. It doesn't have the American standard for schematic symbols, really. It's more based on the Euro, or probably more like the Japanese, rather. I wonder where this program actually came out of. That's an interesting question. There was quite a selection of capacitors. You only get the Euro resistor, though. You don't get a regular resistor. I wanted to show something here. Well, here's device. How does it show ferrite B? Well, like not much. Interesting. And some of the symbols are kind of strange. Well, unitunnel. Really symbols I would argue with, but then again, they're not the American standard. They're, I guess, European standard or something. Also Shakti more or less correctly. Kind of odd there, though. Actually, the one side's kind of crimped. Huh. No, I take that back. It's not really a very standard Shakti. That kind of is. Kind of odd that they have the tops and bottoms different. That's probably not intentional. Anywho, well, they don't show the gates in these chips, just the pinouts. It's kind of a mixed bag here in terms of what you get in these symbols. You're going to end up making a lot of your own symbols, I'm afraid. You go down the transistors. Yeah, they're pretty standard. Transistors look pretty good. A couple of them look kind of odd. Most of them are pretty, straightforward. Okay. And I go to the program. Where is this schematic I was drawing? So this schematic is nothing in particular. It's kind of a special purpose audio amp. I'm not going to even talk too much about it because it's just a junk schematic to kind of play with the program and to get around trying to figure out how things work on it. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but you get the workflow after a while. Whoops, there's another error. Like a little errors in here. Faster, faster, faster. Come on, error. it's real easy to put a line through one of your parts and have little pieces of, like right here, quite easy to do something like that. And that's not really what to do. I'm kind of confused about some of the work structure too. I'm kind of getting the hang of it slowly. But it's like anything like this, it's pretty complicated. You have to do a lot of work on it to really get the flow. And I'm a lot better than I was when I started, of course. And it's a lot of wasted time, but I just wanted to see how building it goes. So I don't want to give an exhaustive review. I haven't done other CAD programs. I just wanted to get a interesting to see what will happen with this. And I wouldn't build the circuit with the transistors I've got selected for starters. Let's see what happens. Not responding. Uh-oh. I might have crashed it by hitting it twice. Here we go. Well, that's just the footprint editor. I wanted to see what happens if you go right into the PCB editor. I haven't done that yet. I don't see it loading. I'm probably not ready to load it, I guess. Anyway, interesting program. I'm going to play around with it a little more. I'd like to get into some kind of schematic program and ultimately do some PC boards. So just a first look at what KiCad's about. It's open source, which is what I'm attracted to it by. Eagle has just changed some of their pricing on their product, making it a little more, probably a little more difficult for the small guy to get into it. They do have a free version of Eagle, but it's got some limits on it that could be a problem later. I don't want to really learn a program and then have to pay or live with the limits. If I can start out on a program, I might as well start out on a pretty well-respected public domain one. I'm going to have to look for libraries online and see what I can collect. Get some better symbols going. So I'm interested in what people think about this program, if they've used it, and if they used other programs they like better, or other alternatives. I wanted to show you one of these transistors. I'm not really sure how to get in and out of modes sometimes on this thing. I screwed that up now. It's easy to mess things up. Kind of want to get out of line mode drawing and then let's see how easy it is to make garbage. I wanted to show some of the component stuff here. Here's the resistor I hate. I'm always harassing a friend of mine about he likes to draw resistors that way. I don't. But you see, I actually give the specs on the transistors. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the transistors I want to use. So I'd have to put them all in and build these up, you know. And then you gotta look at pin out. Some of these JAP transistors are ECB, whereas most US transistors are EBC. So ECB. Alright, so I just wanted to show you that. The other thing I want to show real quick is a little bit of, see now what did I do here? Cancel. And the way you just click in the middle of the drawing, and it'll center it all up once you move it. See, I'm still in this draw mode. I don't know how I get out of place mode and into just a more passive mode. I'm really not sure how to do that. It's kind of annoying. I'm going to watch some videos on this and read more of the file. I read a little bit of the help file and decided I better get into the program a little bit so I know what they're talking about. So I'm going to go back and forth. It's kind of the only sensible thing I can think of. See, I'm still in this place mode. I just can't get out of it. And it drives me freaking crazy. I can't get it to do what I want it to do. I don't think this will get me out of there. It's still going to go and give me a dialogue here. Yep. See, how do I get out of that? I just don't know. So I got a lot to learn. Ah! Oh, I just put a transistor somewhere. I didn't want it. One thing I did want to show is how easy it is to move things around, but it's not so easy right now when you can't get out of place mode. Let's see if I can do this. Need a little more space here for starters. I want to move this front part of this circuit away from this part of the circuit so these labels don't collide. Let's see if it's even possible. And I used to think I could box off an area and it would cut exactly where you box it like it does on most programs, but it doesn't do it in this program like that. It just hits the devices and moves by devices, so you really just want to hit the devices you want to move. Oops, that's not going to work, is it? Need to have these transistors on the outside too. Like, I want to hit the node, not the whole shebang here. Let me see. Well, there we go. I just got to fix it up. Now my labels no longer collide. I actually dragged it a little further than I wanted to. That's okay. I could use a little breathing room in the circuit. That's the one thing I'm learning, is not to draw real tight like I did in some parts of the circuit. Kind of paint yourself into a corner if you draw too close together too tightly. Kind of got to give yourself a little bit of space, especially when you're trying to conceive of a schematic like this. See, now I got to go and patch it up, but at least I got that done. Let's be a little bit picky sometimes. See, now I'm dragging around a block. I didn't really even want to do a damn block. I just can't get out of that mode. So I'm doing that constantly. See, now it just won't do it. It just keeps doing the same damn thing. I guess I have to go back and highlight wire again. Somehow I got in this other mode and it won't let me out. So that's one thing I'm finding annoying is I don't really know what mode I'm in, and I got it like, I wish there was like a passive mode. Where I can do things like draw a wire without dragging a bunch of components around by accident. It's just freaking annoying as all get out. And I don't know why I can't do this at this point. See, it's just little things like this that I gotta learn. See, it just won't let me put this wire in. What the heck? I just can't get out of black mode. It's just so freaking annoying sometimes. Well, these are the kind of things you learn as you go along, and eventually I'll figure out how to get in and out of the different modes. I don't see why I'm putting place wire down, why it wants to keep grabbing a frickin'... I mean, I went to place, grab wire, but it still wants to grab a frickin' big group of components. And you gotta hit right on the marks too, or it's not gonna work. Well, it did kind of. See, now I'm dragging stuff around again. God, I just hate that. Hate it! So I guess the trick is to blow it up real big so you don't get sloppy with your cursor. The minute you're sloppy with your cursor, drag it 1 pixel sideways, it's going to think you're doing a black. And so I guess that's the moral of the story. I guess just to blow it up big enough where you can see. Then I try to drag the screen around and I'm drawing stuff. What else do I gotta fix here? That's about fixed up. I'll go over it more later. So I'm interested in comments. Any other programs I should be looking at? Any other resources you know of for this program? Any opinions on whether this is a good or bad program? Etc.